Hello, welcome back to Furious Driving, and you join me again back with the big old Mercedes W123, the old 230e, which is gradually creeping back towards the road. Now, it's been a week or so since I've touched this thing because the weather has been absolutely insane. First of all, it was 30 plus degrees, which I know a lot of people watch in foreign countries, foreign to the UK of course, it's home to you, not foreign at all, where you think 30 degrees is actually quite cool. Here it is painful, we're not acclimatised to it at all. We can't cope with it. I was doing lots of video shoots to stock up, so we've got lots of nice interesting drives coming soon, and also I was busy with my regular work, and frankly 30 degrees in the blazing sun here is just too hot to be out here cooking, getting the sunburnt, trying to deal with metalwork. It needs to be indoors or undercover for that. And then went straight from the mad hot sunshine into tropical monsoon. It's like rain you've never seen the like of. If you saw the junk in the trunk post bag episode, then yeah, you would have seen some of the rain we suddenly had. That was straight from 30 degrees to that. There was nothing in between. So this car has been ignored for a few days. Anyway, I'm back on it now. So I'm going to start cutting out the last of the little bits of rust in this area here, plating in to replace them. Maybe I'll tackle that jacking point down the back of the car as well. We'll see how we go. Now, last episode I did jokingly say there's a wiring loom behind this bit of metal here, behind this hole here, so I'm going to use some bits of timber, bits of wood in there, because wood is nature's fire break. I would like to point out I was joking. A few people got the joke, a few people I wasn't sure did get the joke. I was just a gag. I know wood does have certain flammable properties. It's actually there to protect the wiring loom from the disc cutter, so when I'm cutting the hole out smooth, I don't cut through there. I've actually been and bought a plumber's soldering mat which I can wrap around the loom to give that protection from the heat as well as the wood. So yeah, we'll protect it in multiple ways. The wood is really just to stop me cutting through it with the disc. Right, let's get on with it. Alright, so first off, try and get this wiring loom as far away as I can from any potential welding. Fortunately, these clips still work after so long. It won't get me all the way away from it, but it will get me some way. I did actually have to snip through there's a insulation tape, so someone has clearly been involved in this loom another different time than a knife. Right, I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos I kind of got myself organised, and all the big bucket of sockets I actually put into this thing, which is a Draper multi-size, multi-function, multi-strip adapter thing. I reckon that's about an 8mm, so I can put my tiny ones, the middle-sized ones, and a few of the big ones all together. I've not finished loading it yet. Yes, it is an 8. Excellent. I need a extendy bar. I did have some in my hand. Here we are. Extendy bars. Picked up a 3-pack of these things as well. So if I move this bracket, then I can get better access to that, moving that cable and not melting it. I don't know if you can even see the other bolt, it's just hidden at the bottom of that. Now, someone mentioned in a comment on a previous video about the fact I'm going from a t-shirt to a long sleeve shirt to a neck scarf to a hat to no hat to a woolly hat in the space of one video. Is the weather really that changeable here in the UK? And the answer is yes. Yes, it is ridiculous. Also, a lot of it is partly for sun protection, because I'm not someone who likes being out in the sun. I burn easy, so a lot of it's to keep the UV off. And the other thing is, of course, protection from the sparky things. So there we go, that's all out of the way. Now I can actually move these cables far enough they're not going to ignite. I'll put these screws back in for a second so I don't lose them, otherwise I will lose them in the 15 minutes. Hey, exactly like that. In the 15 minutes it takes me to weld this space up, I will have managed to vanish them somewhere under the car. Okay, I'll leave them under the car for now, because they're safe there. Now I'm slightly nervous, even though the cables are moved away, there's bits of wood in the way, I'm still slightly nervous of this making a disaster. Oh, I know what love is. Yes! Podmaster now. Donna Summer. Oh, yes. 6 points, okay. Oh, God. Monkey's hits. Don't know. Oh, it was I'm a Believer. She's a Simple Minds. She's a Man-Eater. She's a River. Literally never heard that song. Just Stone. Yes. Little by Little. Yes. Oh, 1996. Oh no, 7. Yes! 97. Education. Armed Forces War. Who's Little Eva? Ah, The Locomotion. Life's Been Good. Not Glenn Fry. No. Joe Wales. There we go, an almost neat hole with probably no wires cut, which is, I'm guessing it's a bonus. And they get me solderer's mat and wrap this around the cables to try and stop them catching fire or melting. There we go, so some protection there, and you can smell the charred wood where I did actually hit the bit of timber with the grinding disc. And now we're back to good old CAD, cardboard added design, bit of cardboard shoved in the hole, marker pen, bada bing, now I know what shape to cut. Now this is my under bonnet hanging LED strip, but it's quite handy in this situation as well. I'll try to, that's back to front, that's not. This is shaped relatively well, close enough because it's going to be behind a plastic arch liner, so it doesn't really matter. There we go, I'll zip this in now. Right, so I'm going to try and hold this in place when I start, and hopefully, as this is in virtually the same area as the last bit of welding I did, the settings on this welder should be pretty much the same as before. And away we go. I really do some more light in there because I can't see what I'm welding. Ow. Now, based on the fact that none of this is on fire, I'm going to call this a success. I haven't actually tried if any of these wires can still work or not. We'll ignore that for now. Right, there we go. We now have one more bit of solid metal in the car. Just need to do this massive crust fest down here. Get us back to some good metal and get that one sorted out. Then the front corner is done. Well, apart from grinding the entire area back to good metal, recoating it with rust proofing undercoat and then under seal. Apart from that, it's all done. Apart from the brakes and the ball joints and the bushes and painting all the stuff and the shocks and probably the springs as well. Apart from that, it's all done. And the brake pipes. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since I last looked at this car for a number of reasons. Firstly, we went on holiday. We went to a campsite, which was, oh man, well, as good as a campsite can ever be. And secondly, because I needed to get Quentin the Rover done while it was still summer, because I needed to sell that car. Because much as I like him, I've got another project in the wings and I can't take it on until A, I've got some money for that project, and B, somewhere to put it. I'm running out of, or have run out of space. So let's see if this thing will fire up again. Oh, yep, positive. We're in park. Park brake is on. Oh, I love this car. Apart from massive holes in it, I can't use the accelerator anymore because I was going to move it backwards under its own power. I just realised I have no throttle because the throttle is not connected to anything at the top. I'd forgotten I'd done that. I think today I'm going to have to unbolt the accelerator pedal from the floor, peel back a bunch more of this stuff that's down here. There you go, it's picking itself up now. Peel back a bunch more of this stuff that's flammable and glued to the floor, and work out how big this hole is that I'm looking at down here. Right, crack on time. I'll tell you what, leaving this thing for about 3 weeks has not made that hole look any better at all. Although in the broad cold light of day, it isn't that too complicated of a shape. Once I cut like square edges, there's a square edge just there because there's a panel ends at that point, square edges there, there and there. So not too complicated, I hope. Before I crack on, I will just say, don't forget, Furious Driving mugs are available in the Redbubble shop. There's a link in the description below. And if you want to help support ridiculous projects like this, don't forget there's Patreon and channel membership, so I can keep on keeping on with these kind of nonsense games. Right, angle grinder time. Wow, that's dangerously offset. Well, that was crazy sharp, whatever it was I just snagged my thumb on. So be warned, even with gloves on, you can cut yourself quite badly and unexpectedly. That's not fun. Okay, back to the cutting of the car, not me. Well, that looks a bit less scary now that it's all clean metal and a really less raggedy edged hole. You can see how much stuff there is on the inside of the car. I need to go and clear off now. That all needs to go. Interesting, good times. The gaping gash doesn't look quite so bad from this side of the hole. I'm going to cut off some of this really tough. In fact, maybe I could just lift that out of the way rather than cutting it. If I put a block of wood under there, maybe I can get away without having to cut that entire section away. Then I can have a bit of originality left in the car. Ouch! I've cut my thumb. That actually really hurts. And gets all the way from that blooming great hole in the floor. Alright, so once again, large blocks of wood are the most essential tool of any garage. Never leave home without them. However, finding more crust hidden underneath here, which I suspect will be... Oh look, another hole! God, I'm starting to hate this car. I wonder how much car is actually left of this car. It isn't just large fragments of hull. So I've got this interesting fun-shaped bit of paper to turn into a fun-shaped piece of metal, which isn't too complicated, well, I say that now, piece of shape to make, but I've got the addition of this interesting new hole which was hidden underneath the rust proofing. I am ultimately going to have to take off all this rust proofing, and I suspect I might find a couple more of these as I go back. Well now, there is a genuine surprise. The little tiny crispy hole that didn't look like much at all turns out to be quite a big, massive, gaping gash in the side of the car. Who knew a rust hole would do that to me? What a shock. No, really, what a shock. Now, like so many of my welding videos, this has gone from an enjoyable day, and by enjoyable day I do of course mean painful slog, and ended up being a race against the weather, because suddenly it's gone very grey and it's definitely going to rain quite soon. So I've cut out these shapes of metal, shaped them into the random weird convoluted shapes that they always are. And a small one up there as well. So we'll get them on there as rapidly as we can, and I was going to do a whole bunch more cleaning up this inside of this wheel arch, so we can then undercoat the entire thing and underseal the entire area, but obviously we're not, because it's going to be just quickly zapping on some rust proof undercoat before the rain comes. Right, let's the thing on, crack on. As always happens, you shape it to perfection, lift it away from the car to go and do something else, come back and you cannot get the thing back where you thought you had it perfect. Obviously once you start tack welding it in place, you can hit it with a hammer some more, but it's nice to get it right before you start doing that. And before I go crazy, let's make sure this is actually covering the entire hole. I've done that before, done an amazing weld in the wrong place. Well, it's good up top. There's a bit of fettling on that corner there once we're in, but yeah, we can crack on with that. Oh, it's very much on fire. There was just a fragment of that black felty stuff that had just got fallen off the higher level just onto the weld area and really had got going. Ow! You should never do this in short sleeves. Well, there we have it. The front corner of this Mercedes is now solid and rust-free, until I find some more, of course, which is inevitable, frankly, isn't it? So basically all I need to do now, I'll do this off camera, give that a squirt of the rust proofing under seal, which is doing a fine job on the other bits. Don't worry, it's only surface. When I wire brush the whole lot down, I'll take that back to shiny metal. Then I'll shiny metal the entire inner wing area, under seal it, rust proof it in there. That's a job for another day, because we had a sprinkling of rain and the clouds are very black indeed over there. Then are we done with rust for this car? No, of course not, because let's go take a look at the back end of the car, which is what we'll be doing next time. Well, I was going to start on this little patch here because, you know, how hard can it be after all, and have a complete the car is finished video, but you never know. This doesn't look too bad. This is much the same as the front jacking point, so hopefully it won't have too many horrors, but it might wind up being very horrible indeed. Meanwhile, inside this arch though, things are considerably worse. That is not good news. That is extremely crusty, and it goes on quite a long way, so there's more down there as well. So yeah, this is going to be a video in itself. This is not a quick tail end to the front end video. This is a completely new epic saga of, oh god, how bad has this car got over the years. Oh well. It isn't perfect, but once it's under a thick coat of under seal, you won't know it's there. Job done. We even saved the screw hole for the arch liner. Right, so there we are. The car is that much closer to being back on the road again. The front end is now, I'm not going to say complete, but it is absolutely solid now. Pretty much. I just need to scrape off all the under seal from inside here, scrape off the under seal from outside there, cover it in lots of thick under seal that's new and actually rust proof this time. Fix my accelerator pedal back on, because obviously that needs to be glued back in place as well, but I need to do a bit of under sealing before I do that. Then I can move on to the rear arch and then fit all those lovely new brake parts I've got now, making a big pile of mess on the floor in the garage. And then we can look at fixing whatever else is broken at that point. But it'll be that much closer to being back on the road and actually driving, so fingers crossed, we're nearly there. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed yet more adventures with a welding torch, which is my least favourite thing in the world to do, but needs must when you've got a bunch of old cars that are rotting before your very eyes in the driveway. So here we go again. Thanks for watching. Please do hit like and subscribe. Grab yourself a mug over on the Redbubble store. Let's see you again next time, where we'll see exactly how bad that rear arch is and how much I really wish I had a lift to be doing it on.